Boom, 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 boom. Wake up. Get out of the haze. Let's rock and roll, boys. Let's talk about the dark side of self improvement and what it actually takes to level up. This is going to be one of the more important trainings that I've made because this is what's going to take you to the next level when it comes to getting freedom, when it comes to creating the life that you want. Something I want you to understand is that to be great, you must tap into the deepest parts of your psyche and you must unleash yourself. And at the end, I'm going to give you something I call the dark routine. This is a routine that I use myself. It's very unconventional, and it literally has helped me position myself and orient myself in my life in a way that I can have an advantage over people who compete against me, over people who are trying to hold me back, over people who want the same things as I want. And because I am able to leverage this routine and I'm able to leverage this mindset that I'm going to share with you here, I'm going to give it all to you here. I'm going to give you everything. Because I'm able to leverage this mindset, I'm able to create the life that I want. And I'm able to build the life that I want. I'm able to attack life on my terms. So I'm going to give you this routine at the very end of the video. But you need to understand that in order to be great, you must tap into the deepest parts of your psyche and you must unleash yourself. Your psyche, I should say. Now, here's what the keys are to your freedom. And here's what we're going to go through. There's a couple keys, 4 things you need to understand that come with the dark side of self-improvement. Number 1 is seeing the patterns that take you out of the haze. You know, I talk about the haze. The haze is what some people call the matrix. The haze is the cloud, the dirt, the dust, the confusion that most people are stuck in, where they're just all day scrolling, stuck in this constant cycle of not taking action, of not changing their lives, of not taking control over the lives that they live. If you want to grow, if you want to have freedom, you have to be able to see patterns that are taking that will take you out of the haze. You have to see patterns that are going to get you success. This is what I want for you. You also have to play bigger and you have to push further. You have to push further than the next guy. Your competition is going to be pushing ahead. There's people who are also want to hold you down, who don't want you to succeed. Your circle, people from your past. You have to play bigger and you have to push further if you're going to get ahead, if you're going to get freedom. And you must develop emotional resilience. I'm going to train you in this. I'm going to explain to you how this works. And then you have to find and grow your North Star. This means where you want to get to in your life and why do you want to get there? What's the real reason behind what you want to do? What's the real reason behind who you want to be? What's the motivation? What's guiding you? What's the star for you that's up in the sky that you're looking at and you're saying, guide me? What's that for you? We need to find that. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in this video. We're going to make a change here. To be clear, I say this in every video because it's the truth. I have nothing to sell you. What I really want is for you to take action. That's all I want. I want you to take action. So subscribe if you want free education 2 times a week. That's all I ask of you. If you want to keep learning, if you want to keep growing, press the little red button. It takes no effort from you at all. And that's the best way you can invest in yourself and grow. But other than that, I have nothing to sell you. I've got nothing to offer you. Understand your dark side. Don't fear it. This is what we're going to look at. You have to understand the dark side. A lot of people fear the dark side. We have this generation of men who are afraid to be great. We live in a generation right now where men aren't being men, where we are being feminized. We're being feminized, again, by this device here, which has helped me make hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars for other people. But we live in a generation of men that's afraid to be great. We live in a generation of men right now and people that are afraid to expand, that are afraid to expand their consciousness and go beyond what is asked of them and become uncomfortable. And part of this, part of becoming uncomfortable, part of being great is understanding the dark side. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that here because I've done it in my life and it's helped me immensely. Trust me, it's really powerful. The dark side, unlike what many people think, is not aligned with evil. The dark side doesn't mean be a bad guy or hurt others. It's not that. In psychology, the dark side is akin to what we call the shadow self. My background is psychology. Before I dropped out of school, I was studying psychology. I wanted to be a psychiatrist. And I began to look into this, and it was very interesting. The psychiatrist Carl Jung, he taught about the shadow self. The shadow self, and I called him incorrectly a psychiatrist, he's a psychologist. The psychologist Carl Jung taught about the shadow self. The shadow self is essentially the things that people repress or do not like to acknowledge. That's the very short version of this. So there's parts of you that you are uncomfortable with, parts of you that you repress because you try to seem more friendly, you try to seem nice. Let's give you an example of this certain amount of money. If I were to ask you today, let's say I was hiring you. This happened to me recently. There's someone that I hired to work for me, and I asked him, I said, how much money do you want to make ultimately? What's your goal? And he was so afraid to say the number he wanted to make. He was so afraid, and he said, you know, 2,000, 3,000 would be amazing. And for where he lives in the world, that would be a good number for him. But that's the number that's in his consciousness. That's the number that he tells himself is okay and that he has permission to say out loud. That's how he thinks, right? But one of the parts of your shadow self is thinking and attempting bigger than you ever thought was possible. This is the shadow self, the dark side. It's the part of you that you repress. So I used to do this all the time. I used to say, yeah, I'd be so happy if I could make 10,000 a month. Oh my God, that's crazy. Now when I think about making 10,000 a month, I'm like, that's the standard for me. That's the baseline. If I'm making under 10,000 a month, I feel uncomfortable. I feel like something's wrong. I feel like I've had a bad month of business if I make anything at all under 10,000 or even at 10,000. To me, 10,000 is where you start to play the game. So the shadow self allows you to go beyond what you think is possible, because what you think is possible is just your persona. It's just you telling yourself, this is what I deserve, this is who I'm supposed to be, this is what I can be. But I want you to go beyond that, my friend. The greatest men in history have all had an understanding of their dark side. All the greatest men in history have had an understanding of the dark side, and they've understood their dark side. Winston Churchill led the United Kingdom through World War II, led the British through World War II. Incredible man. Understood the dark side. He understood how to tap into the shadow self, how to tap into the fierce self, the part of him that was uncomfortable. Nelson Mandela helped to liberate and stop apartheid in South Africa. Nelson Mandela tapped into the dark side. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the greatest military commanders in history, understood the dark side. He understood how to think in a way that no one else would, how to believe that things were possible when no one else believed they were possible. If you want success, you must understand the dark side, and you must develop and become one with your dark side and not fear it anymore. Can you see the patterns? Can you see them? This is the question. Can you see the patterns? Can you do what others won't? And this is what the key is. You must be willing to do what others will not do. You're not going to create greatness by being average. It's not going to happen. You won't create greatness by being average. Unless you luck into it, unless you have it provided to you, unless you have greatness just thrown into your lap, then you'll lose it, actually. I have friends of mine like this. They come from families that are worth multiple 8 and 9 figures, and they lose it. They start off with a bunch of opportunity and they lose it. They go down a dark rabbit hole. I had a friend like this and I saw him go into a very dark place. And he has money to live. He's okay. He's provided for, but he lost so much money and he's in a very dark place mentally because he's not great. He never tapped into greatness when his father had greatness and his father built greatness, but he never tapped into it because he's average. So he doesn't know how to take the greatness farther, how to take it further. The patterns that separate you from the 99%. Here's a couple of those patterns. Taking the road less traveled. The things that other people won't do. The road that other people won't do. The uncommon path. Right? What will other people not do? Now, what I'll tell you is that there is a common path to having uncommon success. There's a small amount of people who are doing the same things. And when you're in that group, it all seems the same. So to me right now, as an example, taking action in my business, hanging out around people that are highly motivated and successful individuals, all of that feels normal to me. But if I look at 100 random people who are in my general age range, general, life demographic, they're not doing the same things that I'm doing, which is going to create a gap between where I am and where they're at. I make more money than almost all my friends that I went to college with. I dropped out, but all the friends that I started university with, all of them, I'm in pretty much the top 1% of earners in that group for the people I went to school with. And I was in an honors program and they're doing very well. I don't say this to brag, but I say this to tell you the reason I've been able to do this is because I took the road that was less traveled. Eating discomfort for breakfast. Can you become uncomfortable? Can you create a diet of discomfort when you don't feel like waking up, when you don't feel like hitting the gym, when you don't feel like working on your business, when you don't feel like shooting a YouTube video, when you don't feel like writing for your blog, when you don't feel like working on ads, when you don't feel like going through the course that you set yourself to go to, or going and approaching that girl if dating is something you want to work on? Can you eat that for breakfast? Developing your ego. A lot of people in the mainstream, a lot of people stuck in the haze, a lot of people trapped in the haze believe ego is a bad thing. They're like, you shouldn't have an ego. You shouldn't think highly of yourself. You should be humble. Keep your head down. Do what everyone else is doing. Develop your ego. Your ego helps you. Your ego can either hurt you or it can help you. Some people have an ego that's built on fragility, that's built on insecurity, that's built on what other people think of them. That's a killing ego. You could also develop a champion's ego. A champion's ego is the ego that helps you grow forward, the ego that helps you get what you want in life. The ego where you say, I'm a champion and I'm amazing, and I can push. I can create what I want in my life. I can win. Becoming a competitor, that's another pattern. Do you want to compete and win? Do you want to compete? This is me every single day. I wake up and I want to beat the next guy. It doesn't mean I want to see him fail. All my boys, all my friends who are running successful businesses, all my friends who are dating beautiful women, all my friends who are traveling the world and making big moves, I want to see all of them win. I only want to see their success. but I'm a competitor. I want to do better than them at every single turn. When my buddy says, hey man, just had a 100K month, I want to do better than him and I want to hit 120 because he hit 100. I'm happy for him, but I don't stay happy. I say, now I want to win. I want to beat you, bro. Get angry at settling. Are you angry at settling? This is what fueled me to increase the size of my business by 25% in 2023 last year. I got angry at settling, and at the beginning of the year, I did close to 80K in 6 months. In just 6 months, and it was mostly profit because I got angry at settling. I got pissed at settling. I was tired of settling in my life, right? And I got angry. I'm always fucking angry. I wake up angry. I don't wake up angry at the world. I wake up angry at myself for not being where I want to be, and I take that anger and I use it. It's not an anger where I beat myself up. I don't get depressed, but I'm happy that I'm uncomfortable, and I get angry at that. I get angry at the settling. Can you get angry? Because that's the pattern that's going to separate you. What you need to do is start playing bigger, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to tell you exactly how. You got to play bigger now. The first way to play bigger now is you start by visualizing bigger. Playing bigger doesn't start by you just telling yourself, I'm going to do something different today. It doesn't work that way. You have to start by visualizing bigger. And I'm going to tell you more about this later. What you want to do is create your own meditation. I have meditations that are around my future success. So for me, and I'm going to share this with you later in this training, my bigger is making 6 figures every month. That's my bigger. Not doing 6 figures in a year, doing 6 figures in a month. That's my bigger. And I start by visualizing it. I sit with that bigger. What does that bigger look like in my life? What's the car I drive? Who's the girls that I'm dating? Do I have a kid? Do I have a son or a daughter? Where am I living? What are the properties that I'm in? Who are my business partners? Where am I traveling to? How am I traveling? All of that, I start visualizing it and I sit with it and I breathe on it. And I visualize it and I see it as a concept. And then I create a meditation around it. And I sit and I think on it and I sit on it when I go to sleep. I turn my phone off, put it on airplane mode so no one can reach me. And I sleep and I wake up with that same visualization, and everything I do follows that. Change the language you use. What's the language you use? What's the language you use to describe your world? What's the language you use to talk about where you're at? What in terms of numbers, what do you talk? How do you think? Do you speak in terms of someone who's staying at $3,000 a month, right? Do you think that buying a BMW is out of your reach? Maybe it's out of your reach now, but how do you talk about it? When I talk to my buddies, I say the businesses that I run and the things that I'm investing in. I don't have big investments. That's the truth. I'm going to be transparent. I don't have big investments. I'm not investing in property. I invest tens of thousands of dollars in coaching and training. That's what I spend on. Not in the hundreds of thousands, but I spend $5,000 on a program, $15,000 on a mentorship. That's the level how I invest. I'm not dropping 50, 100K on properties, 200K on big investments like that. I'm not doing that. But the language I have matches that. I talk about businesses that I invest in. I talk about places I'm traveling to, and that I do also do. I travel a lot. But my language is akin. It's next to, it's lined up with where I want to be in my future. And I speak this into the real world. I speak this into real life, and this takes me out of the haze. It takes me out of the confusion because other people aren't speaking on this, but I am. So what would the most successful version of you be doing right now? What would that be doing? I know what that version of me does. He gives value. And when someone says, hey, can I work with you? Can you train me? I say, cool, man, it's going to be $20,000 to work with me for this amount of time. That's what I do now. That's the most successful version of me. That's what I do now, right? That version of me that's there in the future, that's what he says. So how do I do that now, and how do I play bigger now? That's part of it. It's bringing the most successful version of you in the future into the present. So think of it this way. Who do I need to become to be that guy? And how can I act like that now? How can I live that now? Even if you're living with your parents or you're in a place you don't necessarily like, how can you act like that now? Who are your friend circle? How do you talk about yourself? How do you think? How do you dream? It's super important. Play bigger now. And here's what my current bigger is. I'll be super open. It's being at 100K per month. That's where my bigger is. Being at 100K per month consistently. Increasing my coaching fees. When people want to work with me, when I want to train clients, what number do I say to them? Getting longer contracts where I'm working with people for a year, 2 years at a time. Getting longer contracts with bigger companies, high net worth network, right? My network right now are really successful dudes, but they're not high net worth. They're not high net worth, right? And I'm building that. I'm starting to increase that. I have a couple guys that I'm learning from that mentor me who are doing really well for themselves. And I'm starting to add into that, making my network that more and more and more. Going to events, going to spaces where there's people who are making a lot of money. 2 investment properties, one in Budapest, one in Istanbul. That's my current bigger. That's what I'm looking for. 2 investment properties where I have that to my name, where that adds into my net worth. Flying first class is a primary option. I don't have that right now, right? I can fly business at times. Oftentimes I'm flying economy because I can't just do first class every time. I haven't built that cachet. I haven't built that quality into my life, but that's my bigger. I see it, I dream it, I taste it, I feel it. I can smell it, I can see it. And that's my current bigger, right? That's where I'm going to get to. That's what's next for me. There's a quote that I love from Grant Cardone. There's no shortage of money, only of people thinking big enough. Take this home. There's no shortage of money. It's out there. The only shortage is people that are thinking big enough. The other part of this, to tapping into your dark side, what some of the best performers, some of the best athletes, some of the best, most successful men in history have done. Can you see yourself as the captain in the storm who has to guide his crew? Your crew is not your crew. It's not your friends. It's not your buddies, but it's your emotions. Your crew is the emotions. All the guys that I look up to, whether I know them in person or I've seen them online, sales mentors of mine, athletes that I'm a huge fan of who push themselves to the next level, who push themselves past resistance, past pain, all those guys see themselves as the captain in the storm. And what's the storm is their emotions. It's the battle going on up here. It's the battle from society for your heart and your mind. That's what's going on, right? Can you be emotionally resilient? You have to reframe and enjoy the pain. Here's where it comes from. Here's the emotional resilience. Reframing and enjoying pain. So when you experience pain, you could say the pain sucks. Oh, this is horrible. It's horrible. So now I have to back away from it, which is what everyone in the haze does, because the haze tells you when you experience pain, try to lighten it. Try to make it better. Try to make it feel softer. Take care of yourself. Feel good. Feel good. Take care of yourself is cool, but coddle yourself. Make yourself feel good. You need to chase comfort. Reframe and enjoy the pain. The pain of the gym. When your body doesn't want to go more, not because you can't go more, because it feels uncomfortable, because it hurts, it doesn't feel good. Can you reframe that and enjoy it and say, I love it, I'm eating this for breakfast, this is amazing, this is what I want, I've been waiting for this, hell yeah, come at me, let's go. Rejection and failure. Can you reframe that? When you get rejected, when you don't close a deal. I deal with this as a high ticket closer. I deal with this all the time. I'm closing deals for 10 and 20K. And when I get someone who's like, hey, it's just not a good time for me, and I get that initial hit of I'm not ready yet, what do I do? Do I go into, oh, that sucks now? How do I micromanage my emotions? How do I make it hurt less? No, I go more into that shit and I say, no, bro, I'm going to handle this now. What's going on? What are you afraid of? Why are we not working on this? You said you wanted to make a change. How can I help you get out of your way? It's because when I feel that rejection, I get fucking excited. I enjoy it. I reframe and I enjoy the pain. Uncertainty, not knowing what's next. Not knowing, hey, this investment that I make, that's going to be $5K for my first coaching program ever. That's going to be $10K with me investing in a mentor for the first time. That uncertainty of, is this going to work? Can you bite down on that and enjoy it and say, I love this. This is great. I'm cool with this. This makes me happy. Fuck yeah, let's go. Let's go into the pain. Can you do that? You have to weather the storm of discomfort. That's the key, my friend. Weather the storm of discomfort. There's a storm coming to you. If you want greatness, bro, you have to go against the storm. There's going to be a storm that comes up because it's not easy. You're going to have to go through resistance. Can you weather that storm? Can you? Because if you can, and you can tap into the dark side, which is where you use your emotions and become emotionally resilient, I will tell you the other side of the storm gets even better. It gets great. You have the life you want, which I've experienced at different levels, and I still experience it now. I create new storms. I go into the storm, and I love it. My life is the storm, and I'm happy about that. I'm ready to rock and roll every day in the storm. The North Star, here's what you're going to do. Here's how you're going to actually get the success, and here's what I want you to point towards. Here's where it's going to come from. Why do you do any of this? In sales, we call this the North Star. I learned this from Bill Walsh, who I've learned a lot from in terms of sales. And we call it the North Star, which is where are you getting to? Where do you want to be at specifically in your life? Whether that's making more money, whether that's having more freedom, whether that's getting back more time, whatever that is. There's usually those three things. It's either money, freedom, or time. One of the two things. Right? There's other subparts, but it could be happiness, things like that. But it's generally going to be money, freedom, or time. What's your North Star? Why do you do any of it? Because when you find out your true North Star, that creates the fuel for your growth. For a long time, I didn't know what my North Star was. I didn't know what it was. I just operated kind of, I'm building my business. I'm taking action in my life, doing the best that I can, doing anywhere from 6 to 10K a month pretty consistently, which is okay. Make some cash here, travel here. I lived in Bali for a while. That was fun. It was nice. I was traveling to Miami, out in the strip club, all this stuff. But I didn't have a North Star, so I was limited. But the time when I started hitting 15, 20K a month and I doubled how much money I was making, which was end of 2022 and 2023, when I started getting into that point where I was able to do 150 a year, 200, 250 a year, getting to that point where I started seeing those numbers is because I found my North Star. I'm going to make a separate video where I talk about my North Star. But if you want to find your North Star, there's a couple ways you can do it. And I'm going to give it to you here. Here's the progression. Number one, draw on your pain or lack or problem. This is the dark side. Don't draw on some happy-go-lucky shit. I just want to feel good. I want to feel confident. I want to feel happy. No. Draw on the pain. What don't you have right now? What are you lacking? What sucks? Or what's the problem? What's the problem in your life that you're uncomfortable with that doesn't feel good to you? Why do you want to solve the problem? As in, how would your life change when that problem is solved? Right? Let's say right now you're stuck working at a job you don't like. You got out of college. You're working in some kind of job that doesn't feel right to you. You're in a menial job doing 3K a month, 3K, 4K a month, and it sucks for you. It fucking sucks. Okay, well, what's the problem that you're dealing with right now, and why do you want to solve it? And let's say you want to get to making 7, 10K a month, even though I think that number's too low to aim for, but let's say you're like, I want to get to 10K per month. How does your life change when that gets solved? And then who else's life changes when you solve that problem too? When you can build out a vision and a dream where it's not just about you, but it's about solving your problem now, and then other people will be affected by that by you solving that problem. That's when you can see a true North Star. That's when you begin to have vision. When you have others relying on you. Maybe it's your kid. Maybe you had a kid early and you have a kid that you want to provide for. Maybe it's your girl and you want to give her an amazing life and build something with her. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's that you want to have more status in your group of friends because right now you feel like your network isn't great and people don't take you seriously and you're limited and you're always trapped. You feel like you're trapped and you want to get out of that. That's the North Star, and that's how you make your North Star clear. What I'm going to give you, as promised, is the dark routine. Here's what I want you to do going forward. Here's the exercise you can use. Put your phone on airplane mode until this exercise is complete every day, okay? That's the first thing. Take the phone, put it on airplane mode. When I go to bed, my phone's on airplane mode. That's it. And I don't turn it off until I do my own dark routine. Now, this is a generic dark routine. I have a different version of this that I do, but this is the generic one that you can use. You can create this. Let your North Star be present in your mind. Present in your mind, what does that mean? It means you should see it, you should feel it, you should taste it. If you don't know how to do this, look back at one of my earlier trainings. I talk about this, how to get success. In one of my previous videos, I share this. And I explain to you how you can get to this point where you're visualizing and seeing this success. Look at the book Psycho Cybernetics by Maxwell Waltz. I believe is his name. I could be getting it wrong, but I think it's Maxwell Waltz. That'll tell you how to do this, okay? That's going to help you. Let your North Star be present in your mind right here. Let it sit in the morning when you wake up. To start, this is how you start your day. Let your North Star be present. 50 push-ups minimum to start the day. Do 50 push-ups. You don't have to do them at once. If you can't, you should be able to do 50 push-ups, by the way. Where I'm at right now, by the way, is 60. I can do 60 straight, and that pushes me pretty hard. And if I do like more than that, I'm falling over and arms are shaking and I'm done. That's where I'm at. I'm at 60 push-ups, give or take. A little more than that, but pretty much 60. You should be able to do 50 push-ups and start the day. If you have to split it into 3 or split it into 2, 25, 25, sure. But do 50 push-ups to start moving in your body. You start moving in your body and you start taking control of your body. That already is taking you one step out of the haze, because normally the haze is going to exist here, right? It's going to be here. This is what's going to keep you with everyone else. So what you need to do is create a gap between yourself and everyone else. So this is really quick. First 5 minutes, you open your eyes, get out of bed, do 50 push-ups. Then what you do is you meditate. You're going to visualize and you're going to take on the character of the future self. What does that future version of you look like and do? And you should have that in your mind. You should have this version of you constantly in your mind, and you should live this. For me right now, by the way, when I start my day, what I do is I go out with my dog, get fresh air immediately. We go to the park. We get some exercise in. Me and him, he's a border collie, so he's really active. He's great. We start there. And then what I do is I head to the gym right after that. So my day starts off pretty quickly. You visualize and you take on this character of your future self. You meditate, you sit, take 10 minutes and you breathe on it, you think on it, you feel it, you taste it, you smell it, it becomes real to you. You sit in a position that's comfortable, but where you're not going to go to sleep. Don't go back to bed. Sit in the middle of your floor, cross your legs, meditate on it. You don't need to chant, you don't need to do none of that stuff, but you visualize deeply. You close your eyes and you see it, you taste it. You look at experiences. Who are the girls you're around? Who are the people you're giving back to? Are you buying your mom a car? Are you paying off your parents' mortgage? What are you doing? Are you giving things to your family, to your siblings? Are you traveling places? Visualize that and get into that space, and then you get mad. You get angry. Why do you get angry? Because you're not there now. Because you haven't built it yet. You get mad. You get fucking pissed, and you get to work. You get on the laptop and you start grinding. You get on the laptop and you work on the projects that are in front of you. For me, that's high ticket closing. For me, it's sales consulting. It's training and working with my team in sales, getting them better, and then closing the deals myself. That's what I do. So I get mad and I get to work closing, pulling in 30 to 50K per week for a company. That's what I'm doing, right? So you get mad and you get to work. That's the key. That's the secret stuff. That's the sauce right there. Here's what I'll tell you. Like I always say, I've got nothing to sell you, but I'm going to give you something here. I have nothing to sell you. What I really want is for you to take action. So what you can do, if you want to take action, send me a message on Instagram at OxyTim, OXY.Tim. That's my personal IG. You have me there. It's easy to access me. And for the next 7 days only 7 days, and this is my word, you have me on this. For 7 days, I'm going to be giving you free coaching on how you can tap into your dark side and find your North Star. Okay? I'm going to do this with you. Hit me up on Instagram. Follow me. Send me a DM. Let me know where you're at and what's going on. Tell me you came from the video, and I'm going to give you free coaching. We'll go back and forth in the audios and the DMs, and I'm going to coach you in how to find your North Star. This is to everyone. Hit me up on Instagram, and I'm waiting for you there, and I'll see you there, and we're going to get you rocking and rolling. We're going to get you good. I'm going to help you make a change. Okay, we're going to do that now to kick off the year. We're not going to wait. We're not waiting. We're going to start off now. All right, let's go. I'll see you there. Wake up. Get out of the haze. Keep rolling. It's time to grow. Get into the dark side. Embrace the dark side. Don't fear it. Don't shy away from it. All right. The work begins now. Let's go.